Welcome to video number 3 of the breathing and heartbeat meditation. In this video, we will be continuing with where we left off on the second video and adding a little bit more detail to synthesizing your breath, your heartbeat, and your internal dialogue, which we will continue basically keeping it simple, saying the words in and the words out internally, matching your inhales and your exhales, in addition to lining it up as best as we can with our pulse. So this is the basic contents of video 3. Let's review the first 2 videos. And in video 1, we had the dual path breathing technique, and you can always refer back to that to refresh on how to do that exactly. Video number 2 centered around finding your pulse and being in a good physical position to read your pulse with your index and middle fingers. And also, we added again the internal dialogue, as well as awareness of the pulse and the dual path breathing. So we started incorporating all 3 in video number 2. And again, we will take that basic synchronization and expand on it just a little bit, which will add a layer of, I guess you can say, complexity to it, which will make it challenging, but like anything with practice, you can find a flow and it can become something that you do automatically without needing to strain or try too hard to accomplish. So video number 3, again, the detail, the main new thing that we're adding is basically matching your internal words in and out, not only with your inhales and exhales, but with each beat of your heart. And so basically, if I am to find my pulse right now, why don't I just give you a little demonstration. So I'm looking for my pulse, and when I do this, I'm going to be whispering the word in because, in the meditation itself, you will be saying it internally. I'm going to try to breathe while speaking this out loud, and the only way I can do that with my inhale breaths is to kind of whisper it, and then the exhale will be more audible. So let's try this. So I found my pulse, and then I'm going to start with an inhale, and then we'll start. Out, 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 in, 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 out, out, out. So you heard how it kind of varied between 2 rhythms. It was either two inhales and 2 exhales per breath, or 1 inhale and 2 exhales, and that's normal. You will find as you do this, your inhales are shorter than your exhales, and so you will be saying the word in fewer times than the word out. And within that scope, you will have variations. So sometimes you might inhale or you might say in 1 time with your heartbeat, or you might say it, and then it might be followed by 2 outs, the word outs inside your head, right? It may also be 2 ins and 3 outs. So there is that variation, and that's only normal. What happens is that, for me at least, when I breathe in, because it's shorter, I find that my heart rate doesn't speed up, but it's compared to the exhales are shorter than the exhales. When I do exhale, my heart rate slows down. So that's kind of an interesting thing that you begin to feel as you progress with this. The other thing about the demonstration that I just gave is that when I'm trying to speak and audibly vocalize while doing this exercise, I'm using more air, and so it's an approximate way of showing this demonstration, because it's an approximation of this meditation, because in actuality you are going to be doing a more regularized deep breathing rhythm, which is again the dual path breathing. And so by doing that, you will find your heart rate will be different than if you're trying to speak, because when I'm trying to speak throughout the demonstration, I'm sucking in more air and I'm expelling more air. So again, it doesn't really match with if you are to just do the dual path breathing and just try to focus on your breath and relax your body. The most important part of this video is describing what I'm going to describe right now, which is the challenge of this meditation, of this synchronization of all three of these elements. You are going to naturally want to try to line everything up perfectly. And so I think the overarching philosophy is just embrace imperfection. Let your breath lead. That's the secret. Let your breath lead. Embrace imperfection. It's naturally going to fall out of sync. So don't force your breath to match your pulse or your heart rate. Let the two rhythms weave together imperfectly. Again, stay with your breath and allow your awareness of your heart rate or your heartbeat to drift in and out, right? Stay with your breath and allow your awareness of your heartbeat to drift in and out. Once in a while, this is I have two little extra things that you can do to make it more interesting. After you achieve a certain amount of facility with the meditation, you can release your fingers from your wrist artery, and just relax and try to feel your pulse, your heart rate in your ears or your face or your neck or your chest. That's where I tend to feel it. I think especially for me, it's in my ears. So release your fingers once in a while and see if you can continue breathing, continue the meditation, and then you can just kind of tap down again to feel your pulse. And so you can kind of do this repeatedly, releasing your fingers, and you can kind of expand your sensitivity to your internal processes. I think this is, again, something that you can do once you get a little more accustomed to the meditation itself with your fingers on your pulse the whole time. The other thing is you can use numbers. And this really helps because I like giving myself a kind of goal, 5 breaths or 10 breaths or doing the meditation up to 5 breaths without having stray thoughts sort of derail me or distract me. And so let me just give you a quick demonstration. I don't have to hold my pulse for this, but I'll be saying inhale to represent when I'm breathing in, and exhale for when I'm breathing out. You're actually not going to be saying inhale and exhale. You're just going to be counting the numbers. Okay, so something like this. Inhale 1, exhale 1. Sorry. Yes. Inhale 1, exhale 1, exhale 1, exhale 1. Inhale 2, exhale 2, exhale 2. Inhale 3, exhale 3, exhale 3. So you can, again, just say the numbers, and you're replacing the words in and out with numbers. Now, in terms of the stray thoughts, I think it's worth dedicating an entire video to this. When you are doing this meditation, either with the words in and out or with the numbers, it's inevitable that stray thoughts will enter your mind. The best thing to do is just to notice when you kind of snap out of the stray thoughts, and then remember or realize that you're in the midst of this meditation. So I decided to interrupt the video and address the topic of stray thoughts, which is an important one, specifically stray thoughts while meditating. We can talk about that in a separate video, and it can really be a good discussion, I believe. So there was one more thing that I wanted to add about the numbering system or counting while doing the meditation. I probably mentioned this briefly, but I just wanted to say, give yourself 3 breaths and see if you can go up to 3. At any time during this cycle, if stray thoughts enter your mind, you can always just, the moment that you realize you've been having them, or the moment you snap out of it, you can just continue with wherever you were at. Just keep on moving forward. You don't have to start over. The number 3 is, it can happen relatively quickly. You can finish, in other words, you can finish 3 breaths relatively quickly. So maybe you want to start with 5. And if at any time, again, stray thoughts do emerge, don't go back to 1. Don't go back to the first breath. Don't start over. Just, if it happened at breath 2 and you had stray thoughts all the way to breath 4, just keep going with breath 4, finish breath 5, and then start again if you wanted to, or if you have time, start again from number 1 or at number 1. So that's about it. I hope you enjoy this meditation. It's something that you can slowly, in small steps, work up to. Do a couple minutes every day. You can do it in your car when you're waiting for someone, or coming back home from shopping, something like that. You can even do it just a couple breaths at a stoplight, but just make sure that you are looking up in the general area of the light, if you are, especially if you are first at the crosswalk or at the light stop. It's a little easier if you are behind someone, because you can just look at their license plate, for example, kind of zone out a little bit, put your fingers on your pulse, and do a couple breaths. When you see the car moving forward, you just move forward. You stop the meditation, of course. So these kinds of things. Please stay tuned for future videos covering creativity and personal growth. I have a whole list, just deciding which one will be next. So I look forward to the next video with you. Take care until then.